what's going on, everybody? It's Danielle DeLillo here from iHeartRadio, and we are inside our Dunkin Music Lounge in New York City. I'm so excited to bring today's guest to you today. She is an independent singer, songwriter, who actually was born in Chicago, moved to LA. She was a child actor. You may have seen her in shows such as Game Shakers and Snap, She Made Me Do It. She's also a philanthropist, a humanitarian, and she's just an all-around great person. I want to welcome Kacey Fifield to the Dunkin Lounge.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hi, Kacey.
I'm excited to be here.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
I'm so happy you came to our studio today.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. So tell us where you are going to school right now, because I'm obsessed with this.
I'm a student at Columbia, second year.
Ah, you're second year. So what are you studying right now?
I'm studying poli-sci and music.
Political science.
Yes.
When I was a freshman in college, I got a D in political science.
It's difficult for sure.
Yeah,
Confusing.
and my professor was like, Danielle, don't even think about going into politics. I'm like, I plan to go into radio, not politics. Thank you very much.
Definitely.
Is there a specific topic you like to learn about in political science, or?
Yeah, I'm finding that I'm mostly interested in American politics, mainly because I just feel like it's very intuitive for me. I'm taking a Latin American politics class right now, and it's very interesting, but very confusing. Like, there's dictatorships, then coups, then democracy, then dictatorships again. And it's like, it's so fascinating to learn about, but also like very difficult to retain the information for sure.
Wow. Well, I feel dumber. Talk about your minor that you're studying at Columbia.
Yeah, so I'm doing a music minor, which is very cool. They just introduced minors as like an option in the music program. So I'm mainly taking digital music, production-focused things, because I mean, I've been writing songs and singing for a long time, but I think it's very cool to also be able to know how to produce. So I'm trying to learn that and get into that a little bit more.
Do you feel like that's where you want to take your career to, producing, writing, performing, or?
I mean, performing is definitely my favorite part of music, and writing is my second favorite part. I'd say that the producing that I've done so far has been very like DIY on like Ableton and stuff, but it's definitely helpful because I can communicate better with the producers I work with, kind of explain my vision better, and also create demos. I'm kind of still figuring out the whole like compression, like vocals, mixing, EQs. It's a lot, and there's a reason why like producers are so talented and incredible. It's like not easy at all, but for me, learning that is definitely helpful, and it assists in terms of like making the songs I want to make.
Oh, I love that. So how has your sound evolved from your debut album, Between the Lines, to your recent EP, Nostalgia Haunts Me?
Yeah, Between the Lines was definitely very dancey, very fun. It came out in 2022. I was a senior in high school, which is crazy to think about. That was 2 years ago, kind of insane. But since then, I like to say that I feel like my music has really grown up with me in terms of lyrical themes, but also the sound that I create in my songs. I feel like it's definitely matured over time. Now I'm in college. I'm writing songs about college experiences and kind of new things I'm doing, and I'm also taking some more influences from like indie rock, pop rock, alt pop styles, as opposed to like more dance pop. I still love the dance pop, but I feel like I'm kind of being driven more in that direction.
How do you feel about alt and pop? Like, do you feel like you're in the middle, or like what are you gearing your sound towards more?
Yeah, loaded question, TBH. Genres confuse me. When people ask what kind of music I make, I like to say alt pop, just because I feel like it's not necessarily like super mainstream pop music. Some of the songs, like for example, Never Reply is kind of more like indie rock vibes, whereas Left Behind is more like synth pop. My song Dream Girl is also very like synth pop, hyper pop, like all over the pop genre. I just stick to alt pop because I feel like it's kind of a blanket term for all the different alternative kinds of pop music.
Yeah, I love that. And your lyrics are often described as like relatable and vulnerable. What personal experiences or emotions do you draw from when you're writing?
Yeah, my life a lot. I've had some pretty crazy experiences, so it's always fun to kind of have a song about a specific period and moment in my life, and then for people to kind of make that into their own via their listening, and then when they come to my shows and we will play it together and I'll have a great time. I love doing things like that. I'll also like take inspiration from my friends' lives sometimes, with their permission, of course. I'm not that interesting to write that many songs about my life, so definitely take a little bit, kind of craft stories. And I think it's always the best thing when people say that they can relate to it, because then it's like, wow, like I'm not crazy for being the one person who feels this way and has had this experience. And I think music is just amazing in terms of uniting people and making people feel a little less alone.
Yeah, I always go off of Madonna's lyric, music brings the people together.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
I always loved being able, as a child, I loved music. And I always was that one in my family on top of the picnic table dancing and performing.
Me too.
So, I feel like it really did bring my family together. And do you have any moments like that when you were a kid that you can remember?
I mean, yeah, when I was a kid, I would like every single holiday, I would force my family to watch me put on like one woman plays. And like low key, I would annoy them so much because I'd get so mad if they weren't watching and paying attention, because I thought I was making the most brilliant piece of media ever, when in reality it was just kind of me singing and dancing randomly. But I definitely always loved telling stories and like sharing that type of thing with an audience. I would love to reenact songs and scenes from like Disney and Nickelodeon shows. Like I would always do things like that.
Yeah, I can imagine you just standing there around Christmas time and like everyone's hanging out and you're like, hey, look at me, everybody.
Literally, that's what it was.
Oh my goodness. So you just released a new song, Right Past Me.
Yes.
Can you just talk about the story or the inspiration behind Right Past Me?
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like a lot of heartbreak songs are kind of towards the angle of, oh, this person really hurt me and like they suck, like never want to talk to them again, like that, those kind of feelings of anger and sadness. But I feel like a lot of times there's also kind of a sense of regret. So the song is inspired by like a friend's specific experience that they had, where they were kind of sharing about feeling responsible for the end of their relationship. And I kind of was like, wait, that's a good song idea. And I kind of realized that I also relate to that. I feel like a lot of times, even aside from romantic relationships, any sort of friendship or relationship where you feel like something you did contributed to the end of that, it's very difficult to come to terms with, because a lot of people want to be in denial of like, oh no, I'm perfect, they're completely in the wrong. But I think it's important for us to kind of recognize our own flaws and our own issues and our own roles and the conflicts we have. So the song's kind of about that feeling of lingering regret and kind of not knowing what to do with yourself after the end of that relationship, because you're like, man, I messed up that time.
Is there a specific lyric in that song that you feel so strongly about?
I love the pre-chorus, how it starts with, I'm manic in a state of panic. Like, I low-key, like, quote that. I was in my acting class the other day, and I was describing my character, and I was like, oh, she's, like, manic. And then in my head, I just couldn't stop myself, and I go, she's manic in a state of panic.
Oh, my gosh.
Nobody knew except for my one friend, and she just, like, burst out laughing, like, 5 seconds later. And everyone else in the class was definitely really confused. Yeah. But I think it definitely describes the type of headspace that someone relating to the song and me writing the song would be in.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Now, what do you? You've been doing a lot, right? So you were a child actor. You're going to college. You're writing music. You're a political science major. I don't know how, but you're doing it all. Like, how do you make time for yourself? How do you make time to write? What do you do in your spare time?
Yeah, the answer is that I'm really busy. And it's difficult for sure. Anybody who's taking a full course load knows that college is like so much and like so much work and so much reading. And for me, when I like stack music on top of it, it's kind of difficult. But what I do is I really just focus on blocking out my time. So I don't know, it's kind of bad advice, but my headspace is that like the homework will always get done, but it's like if I just sit around and do homework, then I'm never gonna like go do fun things around the city with my friends. I'm never gonna like go to the gym, which like I love going to the gym. That's like my therapy. So for me, it's just really important, like, okay, I'm going to set aside these 2 hours to lock in at the library, and then I'm going to do an hour of writing on my guitar, and then I'm going to go to the gym for an hour, and then after that, I'll, like, do whatever else I need to do. So just kind of making sure I'm not, like, stuck in the zone, kind of, like, in that dark space of, like, work, is really important for me.
Yeah, because I feel like your creativity could be blocked by that, too.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. Luckily for me, I do kind of get ideas randomly. Like I'll wake up in the middle of the night with an idea, or I'll be like walking in between classes and I'll have an idea and I'll quickly just do a voice memo into my phone. So then I can like return to those when I have more time to build on them.
Yeah. I always leave myself a voice note. I'm always like, hey, gorgeous, how you doing?
Love that.
I know, right? I'm like, who am I? What am I saying to myself? But you're here to perform a couple of songs today, and I just want to talk about the other two. We already talked about your new single that just came out last week. It's so good. So I know we have two other songs. We have Self-Sabotage and Blameless, right? So the concept for Self-Sabotage originated from a casual conversation, from what I heard.
Yes.
So talk about how you wrote this song from just a casual convo.
Yeah, this one is also another one that I stole from my friend, like her experience.
The
which,
same
like,
friend?
No, different.
Oh, okay.
Different friend. But this one, she was ranting about this like weird situationship thing that she was in. We were walking in an Office Depot parking lot. I remember it very vividly. And she was like, "Oh, I wonder if you could write a song about that." And I was like, "Oh, let me think." And then I like thinking about their recent experiences and like stories. I was like, when we danced together, thought I saw a spark, but we're more like dying embers left you in the dark. She was like, okay. I was like, wait, like I kind of like that. So I like put it in my notes, and then I returned to it a few months later. I was like, I don't know, I really like this idea. And I had this idea for a song a few months before then, that had the lyric, "It rains in California every time I fall in love." And I really loved that lyric. And I was like, wait, what if I mash these two ideas together and make a song? So then I like made the song and I played it for my friend. She was like, wait, this is so relatable. I actually ended up switching the POV because I originally made it from her POV, but then I was like, wait, I feel like it might be more powerful to make it from the other person's POV because it's also kind of taking that angle of like I was the one self-sabotaging. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. So it kind of blossomed into a full-fledged song, which is crazy to think about because the person who I wrote about definitely does not deserve that, but...
Tell me how you really feel. And then you have Blameless, okay? What was it like exploring the theme of someone who refuses to acknowledge their faults in this song?
Yeah, that one is just can be applied to so many people. There's so many people out there who just like don't think that they can ever be wrong. The song was specifically written, I think I wrote it during my senior year of high school about like a specific person who was just always thinking that they're better than everyone else, kind of always being perfect. And I think that song is just one that's super fun to play live at like the live shows. Everyone's kind of like, yeah, like you're blameless, because everyone has that one person in their head that they can think of and be like, oh, like that's the person who thinks they're perfect, can do no wrong, and I'm always taking the fall, but when in reality they're the ones who are just completely screwing everyone over.
Ugh, I hate people like that.
So true. Me too.
Ugh.
That's why I wrote the song.
Yeah, well, that's why it's on repeat. So tell me about the album. How did you decide which song was going to go in front of the next song and then that song after that song? You know what I mean? Like, how did you figure out your playlist, basically?
Yeah, so now at this point I've released 2 projects, which is the album and the EP. And I think with those two it was a little bit different. I feel like Between the Lines, it was more so like vibe-wise. The songs, I wanted to make sure that it started on a high note, high energy, and it ended on a high note, and then kind of had like the more slower songs in between. But with the EP Nostalgia Haunts Me, it's more so like kind of telling a story, kind of. The first single off the EP was Self-Sabotage, and that was the one that kind of felt like the thesis of the EP. So that one made sense to be the first single. And then I released Vegas, which is more so like kind of dark pop, kind of like, it's a very unserious song. It's kind of just like, oh, you're a Vegas playboy. This is what you do. I hate you so much. Like, you suck, basically. And then from there, there's kind of more like emotional building. Like the last track on the EP is called Numb Pill, and it's kind of about accepting who you are as like an emotional person. And in the bridge I go, I'll soak in all my sadness, I'll take it over your cold heart each day. And it's kind of saying like I'd rather feel than like not feel, if that makes sense. Like, I'd rather feel all the sadness than just be numb to all of it.
Absolutely.
And I think that was the closing of the EP, because it was kind of accepting all these emotions that I've gone throughout the EP. They're all okay, and they're all part of the human experience.
I love that. So speaking of finding yourself and being an artist that you always wanted to be, You just put out this EP, this new single, etc. What's next for you, Kacey? What do you want to do next? What is on your wish list, your bucket list in your career?
Yeah, so I have so much new music. I did a lot of songwriting and producing with different collaborators over the summer. So there's a lot of songs that I would love to put out. I did a show here in New York on the 11th, and we played a couple of the unreleased songs. So kind of getting people's reactions to that was really cool. And I'm definitely planning on putting some more out in the new year. Based on the reactions and what people are loving. And I also love doing live shows. It's my favorite part of music. So I definitely want to do more live shows. I would love to go on tour. If anybody needs an opener, I am here. I am so down. I love live shows. And I have so many people who are like, oh, come to Chicago, come to the UK, come to all these places. And I definitely want to play in all the cities where I have listeners. So working on getting more live shows is a big thing.
And speaking of live shows, where's your favorite place that you've performed so far?
The Troubadour. I love the Troubadour. I was saying it to my friends the other day. I wish every day was the day I played the Troubadour. It was so magical. The Troubadour is obviously so iconic for so many reasons. But also it was just such a beautiful night. The lighting was perfect. The sound was amazing. I could hear myself so well. The crowd was so energetic. It was so awesome.
Well, I'm so happy for you and everything that you've been doing. You're a rising star here.
Thank you so much.
We are in the Dunkin Music Lounge. We always ask our guests a Dunkin-related question. So my question for you is, if you could sit in a Dunkin and write a song with anyone, sip a coffee or a tea, eat a donut with, who would it be?
I think I'm going to have to go with Lorde. I love Lorde. I think she's one of the best songwriters of our time. She's amazing. And I would love to just pick her brain and figure out how she writes, and write a song together would probably be ultimate bucket list item.
I love that answer. Well, without further ado, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to have you take the stage and perform. Everyone, Kacey Fifield here in the Dunkin Music Lounge. Let's give it up for Kacey.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. So now we'll. You want to stand, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Whenever you're ready, you can come up here. You can put it on that stool there. You can put it here.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah. And then just introduce your song before you perform.
Okay. So are we good to go? Awesome. This first song is called Blameless. It's off my Nostalgia Haunts Me EP, and it's about that type of person that never takes the blame for anything, always casts doubt on everyone else, and just kind of isn't accountable for their actions. Your true colors shine right through your fabricated life. I've always seen your hidden clues. I've known all this time. You take advantage just to help yourself. Never think twice when you put us all through hell. Always shift the stories that you tell. Look how far from grace you fell. But you're blameless. You victimize yourself, you're acting shameless. Throw me on just to save your reputation. Whole world knows the truth, but you won't face it. Yeah, you're blameless, you're blameless. Hate the way you scheme, 'cause you're blameless, you're blameless. Oh, you're blameless. Heard enough of your excuses. Hate the way you scheme. You're one half cold and one half cruel, yet still you don't believe that you take advantage just to help yourself. Never think twice when you put us all through hell. Always shift the should tell. Look how far from grace you fell. But you're blameless. You victimize yourself, you're acting shameless. Throw me on it just to save your reputation. Whole world knows the truth, but you won't face it. Yeah, you're blameless, you're blameless. Whole world knows the truth. Yeah, you're blameless, you're blameless. Oh, you're blameless. How come you don't see what I see, what I see? Falling for your own damn lies. How come you don't see what I see, what I see? Your illusions got you mesmerized. Blameless. You victimize yourself, you're acting shameless. Throw me on it just to save your reputation. Whole world knows the truth, but you won't face it. Yeah, you're blameless, you're blameless. Hate the way you scheme. Whole world knows the truth. You put us all through hell. 'Cause you're blameless, you're blameless. This next song just came out. It's called Right Past Me, and it's about that kind of feeling of regret you feel after you caused an issue that led to the failure of a relationship or friendship or any sort of dynamic, but just kind of coming to terms with the fact that it's over and dealing with that. In my dream was a familiar stranger, someone I wrote a song about once. Told you that we need to talk later about the feelings that I left unsung. You said you were open to the danger of being friends if I earned your trust. Not sure how to win your favor without messing it up. But I'm manic, in a state of panic. Can't make it through the night without reliving my bad habits. And I feel useless, how can I get through this? Can't have a conversation with all of my excuses. I crumble to a million pieces. It's my fault, but I still believe in all the what ifs that still live from back before I broke you. I stumble over all the reasons I don't know how to kill my feelings. I'm obsessed in my head. You still care like I do. Truth is that you've grown and you look so happy. But it still kinda hurts that you moved right past me. They say if it's meant to be, it will be. But what if that day never comes? And if you're not my soulmate, then who is he? You should probably tell him to run. Looking back, every broken promise, I burned all your trust to ash. Each day you're stuck in my subconscious. I'm living in the past, but I'm manic, in a state of panic. Can't make it through the night without reliving my bad habits. And I feel useless, how can I get through this? Can't have a conversation with all of my excuses. I crumble to a million pieces. It's my fault, but I still believe in all the what ifs that still live from back before I broke you. I stumble over all the reasons I don't know how to kill my feelings. I'm obsessed in my head. You still care like I do. Truth is that you've grown and you look so happy. You look so happy. It still kinda hurts that you moved right past me. Thank you so much again for having me. This last song is kind of everyone's favorite off my EP Nostalgia Haunts Me. It's called Self-Sabotage, and it's about kind of the feeling we all have where we all are prone to sabotaging ourselves in certain ways. I feel like we can all relate to that, and the song's about that. When we danced together, thought I saw a spark, but more like dying embers. Left you in the dark, knew it wouldn't last forever, but I didn't let it start before I left you severed. It was now or never. Honestly, I did you a favor. You think I'm a traitor, but you'll thank me later. Honestly, I'm getting exhausted, 'cause you saw you're blocked in, then you just lost it. But if I stayed, then I'd abandon you. Always had my ways, know how to hide the truth. I'd mess up your life and give you trust issues. Self-sabotage, that's all I know how to do. Trust issues. Oh, I'd mess up your life and give you trust issues. Self-sabotage, that's all I know how to do. Used to know each other, knew all your favorite songs, the way you spent your summers. But I knew all along you'd have to find another. Soon I'd be long gone, but you still make me shudder. I can't recover. Honestly, I did you a favor. You think I'm a traitor, you'll thank me later. Honestly, I'm getting exhausted, 'cause you saw you're blocked in, then you just lost it. But if I stay, then I'd abandon you. Always had my ways, know how to hide the truth. I'd mess up your life and give you trust issues. Self-sabotage, that's all I know how to do. Oh, I'd mess up your life and give you trust issues. Self-sabotage, that's all I know how to do. I'll cut myself out of your life before you get the chance. Show my true colors every time so you know who I am. And I know I should warn you that I'll lie and break your trust. It rains in California. I'll cut myself out of your life before you get the chance. Show my true colors every time so you know who I am. Drag you through hell and send you back to heaven up above. It rains in California every time I fall in love. Stay, then I'd abandon you. Always had my ways, know how to hide the truth. I'll mess up your life and give you trust issues. Self-sabotage, that's all I know how to do. Trust issues. I've had my ways, I'd give you trust issues. Self-sabotage, that's all I know how to do. Thank you so much.